In this video, we'll be covering how you can use Touchplan to manage your crews and easily visualize your staffing plan across multiple projects. Here we are in the active planning space. I want to point out that while you're planning your various phase plans, you'll notice at the top of your screen a bar graph showing crew size required for the scheduled build-out below. The number at the top of the colored bars will indicate the total crew size or manpower count required for this particular day for that particular project. The number below will show you the number of people that need to be on site that day for the entire project across all of your plans. In terms of this bar along the top, as I move activities or place new ones on the board, you'll see these numbers change, signaling the adjusted manpower that we'll need. This is a great feature that will allow you to prevent overstacking and make sure that the team is able to commit to the work and build realistic plans. It's also important to note that the drop-down here will allow you to filter by roles in case you only want to see a particular set of disciplines. So for this example, I'm going to look at electrical. Now that I've selected electrical, those blue crew sizes from those tickets down below are displayed on the top. You'll notice tickets that stretch out over non-work days are shaded out on the planning board. This is only displayed when crew sizes are allocated for those particular days. If I were to click into any of these activities, you'll notice here, this is where I can adjust the crew size for any of these tickets. This is a required field when creating activities, and as I click Save, you'll notice in the bar graph above that those numbers have changed. So in this scenario, we were able to get 23 people on site in the electrical role on November 27th and the 28th. If for some reason this isn't possible, this should foster a discussion about figuring out ways to work around this challenge. In terms of a report to look at to get a closer look at this data, we can click on Reports on the left-hand side, and there are two specific reports that will isolate crew size data. For the first, it is Weekly Work Plan. This is a very simple report that we recommend sending out to trade partners, at least on a weekly basis. The Weekly Work Plan reports allows you to select start date and look forward between 1 to 6 weeks ahead of the start date you've selected. You can now filter the weekly work plan by any combination of phase plans, location, and roles. So I've selected the interior phase plan for this example, which you'll see in the background here. The locations are going to filter the location banners on the top of the activities. In this case, I can look at Sector 1, Equipment Yard, choose to include completed tickets or not, so you can really customize this in whatever way you'd like. Then, the drop down here, I have some options in terms of the layout of the report. I like to group the report by location so that it is organized in a way that's similar to what my planning board looks like. So now I'm going to run this report again, and you'll see my weekly work plan report. Here we have a 3-week look ahead as of Monday, October 2nd. You'll notice on the left-hand side we have a breakdown of sectors, which represents our locations. Moving left to right on the report, we have the particular project roles and any prerequisite work that's listed on these activities. And then along the top here, we have week 1, 2, and 3, and the crew size required day by day from the plan below. You can see each location, each sector in this example, is rolling up the crew size for those particular locations, and then the overall number along the top. So again, this is a very popular report to share weekly with teams to make sure that everybody has the information they need. Oftentimes, this is filtered out for one particular discipline and shared with that discipline, or even better, the trades can actually go into Touchplan and pull these reports themselves. Sharing these reports out is really easy. You can print these reports by exporting them into a PDF format so that you can print them or email them out. And then below, any of these reports can be downloaded into a CSV and shared that way as well. Now I'll hop back over here, and we're going to take a look at the Gantt Chart Report. The Gantt Chart Report is our most heavily traveled report in Touchplan. It is going to give you a really nice visual of actual activities and their planned duration. So right at the top, I'm going to take a look at the Gantt chart by selecting that report type. There's a start and end date, so you're able to have a little more flexibility with this report than the weekly work plan. I can select my start date, I'll do September 10th, and my end date will be October 22nd again. Filtering any combination of face plan or location and roles is also an option here. As I move down, I can see my layout options. I'm going to group this one by locations. Again, I just find it easy to mirror what I'm seeing in my planning board in my reports. And my time scale, I'm going to select individual days. We're going to be running this report and then click View. And here we have the Gantt chart. This is a similar setup to the weekly work plan in terms of locations being broken down on the left-hand side. What I want to point out here is that you have the activity days, crew size for each activity, and then the concept of plan versus actual start dates on this report. So you'll notice when an activity has been completed, it has an actual start and finish date that is visually indicated on the right-hand side with a gray line underneath the colored Gantt bar itself. The gray underline indicates the actual start date and actual finish date. Where the color bar exists is the planned start date and the planned finish date. So in this example, you can see a lot of commitments that were met on time based on the planned versus actual dates aligning. As we move down, you'll notice some of the roles that I've included here, and some of the activities have yet to be completed, so obviously they do not have an actual start and actual finish date yet. As we continue to move down, you'll notice that we have different locations. In Sector 4, for example, here, you can see the crew size rolled up under that gray bar in the middle. There's a crew size required for all activities as I planned out these days. At the bottom of the Gantt chart report, if you go all the way down, you'll be able to see the combination of crew size broken out by the individual disciplines on these days. Really helpful overview and a nice high-level visual report. Here again, you have the option to download this report to a CSV or click print at the top, which will export it as a PDF, again, making it easy to share out with trade partners or any important stakeholders. All in all, Touchplan's visual planning space allows you to break down crew data in a number of different ways and visualize where team members need to be to ensure everyone has the time and space needed to complete their activities. Once real-time data is collected from the site, it is then rolled up into reports that allow subs to track trends and plan crews across multiple projects.